Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2, Section 0.3 Notes, Day 1. Today we're talking about solving linear equations. Our learning target today is to be able to solve linear equations by using inverse operations. Now, for those of you who don't remember, solving linear equations requires you to use the inverse operations, okay? So, in other words, you must use SADMAP. Like what? SADMAP? SADMAP, which is PEMDAS backwards. Okay, so with SADMAP, we'd be looking at subtraction and addition first, division, multiplication, exponents, parentheses. Okay, so we're kind of working backwards from what we're trying to do. All right, and we always want to get the variable, the letter, by itself. So let's look at the first one. Number 1. We got to find our variable. Okay, we draw our little line down the middle. I take a look to see what's going on right here, and we've got a -7. I want to do the inverse. I want to do the opposite. So the opposite of subtraction is addition. So we add the 7 to both sides. -6 plus 7 is 1. So we get that x equals 1. Okay, number 2. Go ahead and find your variable. When there is a number next to a variable, that means multiplication. So I want to do the inverse of multiplication. Well, the inverse of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by -8. So this is saying to give exact answers, so that when they're saying exact answers, they normally mean fractions. So 4 over -8 is the same thing as -1/2 if you reduce that, okay? Now if it's a terminating decimal, a nice decimal, if it says it's okay to leave your answer like that, you could, and that would be -0.5. All right, number 3. Go ahead and draw your line down the middle. Find your variable. And what's going on to that W? Well, it's a fraction. Well, yeah, it's a fraction, but what does that bar mean? The bar means division, so it's being divided. The inverse, the opposite of division, is multiplication. The 4's would cancel. 4 times 10 is 40, and that equals W. All right, number 4. Now, most people will be like, well, we were multiplying 2/3, so I'm going to divide by 2/3. Now, we don't divide fractions. So instead of dividing fractions, we need to multiply by the reciprocal. And when you multiply by the reciprocal, those actually cancel. Now, if you don't believe me, we're going to prove it real quick. So I have a -2/3. Okay, that's what we're starting with. Okay, the 2/3. And my calculator does not want to work this morning. So there we go. And I'm multiplying it by the reciprocal, so I need to flip the fraction. Now, if we do this right, we should get 1. Okay, and let's find out. Woohoo! We did it! Okay, so that's how you cancel a fraction. You multiply by the reciprocal. Okay, so we have y all by itself now. If you want to keep that calculator out, you've got a -3/2. Anytime we're working with fractions, we always put it in parentheses, and we're timesing it by 8. Okay, and we get -12. All right, number 5. Just because there are fractions in there doesn't mean you get to give up. Okay, there is our variable right here. Okay, it's being subtracted. The opposite of subtraction is addition. All right, want to double check with your calculator what that is? Negative 1.5 plus 3.8. Negative 1.5 plus 3.8, and we get 2.3. Okay. Now this time we're not multiplying by fractions, we're just adding a fraction. Okay. So if we have addition, the opposite of addition is subtraction. Now I would say, hey, go ahead and do this on your calculator, but this one you can do in your heads, okay? Because they're already like denominators, you can just, the denominator stays the same and it's 7 minus 1. Well, 7 minus 1 is 6. Okay, and we want to reduce that, so 6 divided by 3 is 2. Oh, and it's not an N, Mr. Grice. An M. It's an N. Sorry about that. All right, so that's the first part. Those were one step. Now we've got multiple steps, okay? So it really depends on the problem, and make sure that we're following SADMAP. Okay, so with number 7, let's find our variable. And I notice that we have like terms. So negative 7 minus 3 is negative 10. And now solve, okay? So I combine like terms, now I have subtraction. I'm going to add the 10 to the other side, and negative 6 plus 10 is 4. All right, number 8. This is where we definitely have to follow SADMAP, okay? We want to check for addition and subtraction first. So the first thing I'm going to get rid of is this 1, okay? We're going to add 1 to the other side, and we get negative 8m equals 13 minus 1. No, not, that's supposed to be a plus, Mr. Grice. 13 plus 1, which is 14, okay? And now I'm going to divide. So I took care of that, and now I'm going to divide. My negative 8's cancel. And we're doing 14 divided by negative 8. Okay, and I want the fraction. So I'm going to hit math, enter, enter, and that's going to give me negative 7/4. All right, number 9. Okay, once again, follow SADMAP. You get rid of addition or subtraction first. So I'm going to get rid of that 3 by subtracting. Negative 7 minus 3 is negative 10. W over 4. And we just had one like that. We just multiply by 4 to both sides. 4 times negative 10 is negative 40. Okay, number 10. Don't freak out because there's a fraction right there, okay? Get rid of the addition or subtraction first. 10 minus 6 is 4, okay? And then we multiply by the reciprocal. Now, if you want to try and do this in your head, all you do is multiply the top numbers. So 4 times 5, remember that's going to be negative. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 divided by 2 is 10, and it's going to be a negative 10. And if that's too hard for you guys to do in your head, just do 4 times negative 5 over 2. There you go. Mr. Grice got it. He's not that crazy. just a little. All right, number 11. So with number 11, people kind of get confused with what to do. So sometimes it might be easier to write this in standard form, okay? And by standard form, just remember we put the variable first and then the number, and that is a positive 4, okay? So now I can tell that that's adding 4 and I need to subtract it to the other side. I have negative x equaling negative 13. Don't forget that negative sign, okay? And the x isn't by itself, guys, because that's really a negative 1. So I need to divide by negative 1, and then we get that x equals positive 13. All right, number 12. Let's see if you can do number 12 on your own. Go ahead and pause the video, and good luck. Okay, you should have added the 45 to the other side and then multiplied by the reciprocal, which was 3/7, and then you get 21 equals n. Okay, now with 13, when we have the parentheses like this, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply inside, we're going to distribute, and then we're going to solve, okay? So 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 10, or 5 times 2, I just said the answer, is 10, and that equals negative 35, okay? And then we're going to just follow order of operations. We're going to subtract that 15 to both sides. We get negative 10x equals negative 50, right? I just want to double check that. Negative 35 minus 15. Woohoo! Okay, and then we're going to divide that by negative 10. And that's where we get x equals 5. Okay, even with a fraction, we're going to do the same thing, okay? We're going to distribute n, so that's 2/3 y, minus 2 times 6 is 12. 12 divided by 3 is 4, okay? I want to get the y by itself, so I'm going to add 4 to both sides. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0, so we get 2/3 y equals 0. And when we multiply by the reciprocal, no matter what we're multiplying, we're going to get, yep, 0. Because 0 times anything is 0. All right, and 15, they're trying to be tricky right here, okay? Yeah, because there's a negative right here. You have to distribute that negative inside. So we get negative 10 minus 15n. And then it's just order of operations again, guys. We're going to add the 10 to both sides. That turns out to be 5 equaling negative 15 over n. To get the n by itself, we have to divide by negative 15. And we're going to get a fraction there, so 5 divided by negative 15. And just math, enter, enter. And there you go, negative 1/3. So negative 1/3 equals n. Now, I would love to say that's the end, but we got a backside to this, okay? Now, the backside, the answers are on the bottom, okay? So let's go through all these, okay? All right. But you guys are going to start doing some of these on your own. All right, so multiple step stuff. Look for the parentheses, see if we can do what's inside, which we can't. And I want you to distribute that negative, okay? So we have 9x, and I'm distributing the -4, and then the -3x, and that equals -8, okay? I notice that I have like terms, so I can combine those. 9 minus 3 is 6x minus 4 equals -8. And from here, now we can follow SADMAP, okay? So go ahead and pause the video and see if you can take it from there. Okay, you had to add the 4 and then divide by 6 and then reduce that fraction to get -2/3. All right, number 17. All right, we need to distribute first. So we have -18 equals 2 times y is 2y, 2 times 4 is 8, plus 3y. Find your like terms. So 2 plus 3 is 5y minus 8. And then we're at the same spot as we were before. Pause the video and solve it. All right, using inverse operations, you add the 8 and then divide by 5 to get -2. All right, don't be scared when you are distributing a fraction, okay? Either use your calculator or do 4 times 10, which is 40. 40 divided by 5, which gives us 8. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 divided by 5 is 4. Combine your like terms, okay? We get -4n plus 15. And then we'll just do this one together. We're going to subtract 15 to both sides. We get -2 equals -4n. And then when you divide by -4, I have -2 divided by -4. Well, I'm going to reduce that fraction to get a +1/2. Okay, so why don't we see if you guys can distribute this one all on your own, okay? We are distributing the -1/2 to both of those, okay? So go ahead and pause the video and good luck. Okay, so you should have gotten -3 plus 2x. So when I combine my like terms, 11 minus 3 is 8. All right, and then we're just going to solve. Subtract the 8 to both sides. -16 minus 8 is -24. And then to get the x by itself, we divide by 2. -24 divided by 2 is, that's right, -12. Okay. Looking at this, we have to distribute first. -7 minus 2 is a +14. -7 times r is -7r. Remember, we only distribute to what's inside the parentheses. Okay? And now we've got two sets of like terms. I'm going to put this in order, so I'm going to put the -4r up first. Plus 20 equals 22, and you guys are on your own. Good luck. Hopefully you're pausing the video. Okay, and when you're all done, you should get -1/2. Okay, remember to reduce that fraction and don't forget about the negatives. And the best for last, okay? We're gonna see if you can do 21 on your own. You're distributing twice here, okay? we're distributing the -3/4 and a -1. Okay, so pause the video, try it on your own. Good luck. Okay, so we distributed -3/4 times 12 is -9. -3/4 times 8 is -6. Negative times 10 is -10. Negative times negative is positive. I combined my like terms to get 10x minus 19. Add the 19 to the other side and we got -2. And when I divide it by 10, it is a -1/5. So, well, that's it for Algebra 2, Unit 0.3 Notes, Day 1. Your homework is on the bottom, okay? And that's it. All right. Well, guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. We would love to help you out. Otherwise, this is Mr. Grice signing off. Have a good day, and thanks for watching.